Hi there. I want to talk about faith and your environment and how those two are interrelated and connected. So, when we think of faith, uh, there are many different kinds of faith. There's different religions. There's Christian faith, there's Buddhist faith, there's Muslim faith, there's Hindu faith, there's Jewish faith. But faith, my own personal faith, so my own personal faith would include Christianity and the Bible, and aspects of other religions too, in the sense that I'm not multi religional, but there are truths found in every religion. So, in that sense, talking possibly more about uh, a universal faith as well, like a Catholic faith. But how the question that I want to ask, or the question that I want to talk about is, or ask is, how does faith interact with your environment? When we think of our environment, you know, growing up, I was always shown how to keep a clean environment. But when you think of the environment, you can also think of nature, and how does nature affect your faith? Um, how does your physicality, your physical body, affect your faith? For one thing, your faith uh, can be a physical experience, in the sense that faith is not necessarily an intellectual or a rational experience. Um, the way you live your life, how you interact with your environment, um, are essential in the life of faith. Um, you know, when we live in a physical world, um, faith can be expressed in physical ways. The Bible says that the righteous will live by faith. So having an understanding of what faith is, what the Bible would say about faith, if you're a Christian, so you would look to the Bible to see what the Bible says about faith, is important. But there's actually a living out of your faith in the real world, and I think um, what deprives us sometimes of actually experiencing our faith in the sense of being attached to our environment is technology, for one. Um, not addressing the issues in our world or in our environment that would produce more faith within us. And so we're living in a time right now in the 21st century where um, you really have to disconnect for quite some period of time to really regain that sense of calmness. Being able to not just read about faith, or go to church on Sunday or Saturday or whenever it is you go to church, but to be a living expression of your own personal faith. Um, the way that's done with your environment, for one, you would want to take care of your physical body, so making sure that you get enough sleep, that you're feeding your body with healthy food, that you're um, not necessarily worshiping nature, but including nature in in your life. And now we live in a time where nature has a healing effect on people, because we become so detached from our natural environment that when we have a true experience of nature, it can create faith within our hearts. And so I think as human beings, throughout the centuries, we've always been uh, intuitively, we've always had an intuitive understanding um, that the environment is part of our physical body, uh, not not in a theological way, but it's more in a practical way, and also and it can be a spiritual way too, when we use nature in ways that um, help our faith to grow. So we can look to nature to allow us to have more clear clear expressions of faith in our day-to-day living. um, and how do you do that? Well, try just disconnecting from technology for a while. You can experience nature in your room in that sense, where you just pick up a book and something that's tangible, not electronic, but something that's tangible. Light a candle. If you, not a lot of people do that these days, but you can just, there's a lot. Some people do that, but you can go to a store in your mall, or order online and just order a nice scented candle, and you can just shut your technology off and just light a candle, and contemplate on God, contemplate on your faith. Read it, listen to some music. If you don't want to light a candle, you can just get a book, or get an old fashioned radio and just listen to music. You don't have to use technology to listen to music. You can, but it's better if you have something that's tangible, like a radio. Um, and there's ways to reconnect yourself with your environment around you. The more you do that, the more you'll find that it's having an impact on your faith, right? Because faith is has to be cherished. It has to be nourished. Faith has to be nourished just in the same way that you need enough rest, you need enough sleep, food, water, um, and maybe another way, if you actually don't want to go out into nature, is take a nice shower. You know, the water, just be one with the water. Just allow yourself to feel, as you're being physically cleansed, allow yourself to feel like the water is inwardly going into you, into your soul, and cleansing you inwardly. And the more we do this on a day-to-day basis, the more we can sit down and enjoy a good meal, connect to nature in that way. It's not nature in the sense, but it's part of nature. Food is part of nature. Consume, when you're consuming food, consume vegetables, fruits. When you have a nice uh, something to eat, it can reconnect you with nature too, as well, if you do it in the right way. Just some practical ideas on how we can nourish our souls and also nourish our bodies, um, through disconnecting from technology for a while. And then I find that when you come back to technology, you have more of a clear mind. You don't get as upset about certain things that are being put on to technology and social devices and stuff like that. So just some ideas how we can use environment to nourish our faith. Thanks.